This is a beginner's course. We're going to first quickly just talk about the anatomy of a neat file. And this is going to help you guys as beginners, any beginners here, to understand what I'm referencing later on in this webinar. So let's take a look at the anatomy of a file. So here you can see a screenshot of a file in Neat. This is what it will look like if you were to open one of your files in Neat. And each file has a data section, which is on the left, and an image section, which is on the right. And this data section here to the left is what really makes up your Neat database. This is all of the data that you're able to use in your reports and your filters in Neat. And this is really where a lot of the power of Neat comes from. You know, other storage solutions like Dropbox and Google Drive, they don't allow you to label and categorize your files to the level that Neat does. And through this data, you're able to establish this consistent naming convention for your files, which is absolutely necessary for having a well-organized database. So focusing on the data side, the left side of the screen here with all of this data here, let's talk about the anatomy of a file. So there are four parts to the data section of a file. So you have the item type, which is number one at the very top left-hand corner of the data section of a file. And there are actually 9 different file types that you can store in Neat. And each one of these item types has its own set of file fields and functions. And we're going to come back to item types in a minute. But let's move on to the next part. Part 2 of a file would be the folder. So, you know, the file folder is really simple. It just tells you where your file's located in your database. So pretty straightforward. Underneath those two things, then you have all of your file fields. All of those boxes that you see there are considered your file fields, and they're kind of broken up into 2 separate sections. So at the very top, you have your file detail fields. And your file detail fields tell you key facts about your file, such as the name of your file, dates associated with your file, and amounts associated with your file. Information that is really factual and probably somewhere on the image of the file, and you know, you can't really dispute it. Then underneath the file detail section, you have the file classification fields section. And this is for your unique classifications of a file, how you want to categorize your file, which one of your unique projects or customers or properties is associated with this file or your files. And then underneath all of your file fields is the last section of a file, which is your notes. And the file notes are separate from your file fields. With file fields, you can do things like filter and, you know, you can run reports using all your file fields where you can't with your file notes. So they are 2 separate sections.